The Polysaur.
The last of the giants. In this one-on-one mirror match, the Polysaur, playing as Imperious, faces off against another Imperious tribe. While the players' tribes are equivalent, their map positions are strikingly different. The Polysaur's opponent begins this game on a resource-rich plain containing his capital city and two nearby cities. However, none of these cities have immediate water access, and only one of these can ever, by expanding its borders, gain access to the large lake in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, the Polysaur's capital city, and the closest city to it, both allow immediate access to this mid-map lake. As we shall see, the Polysaur parlays these circumstances into an advantage that helps him grind through his opponent's giants, albeit while losing a few of its own giants in the process. Unsurprisingly, the Polysaur's opponent, whom we'll refer to as Gigantis, begins the game by utilizing his plentiful berries and game to develop his cities, quickly giving him enough stars to invest in the forestry technology, allowing him to even further develop his trio of original settlements. In fact, by turn 8, he had already popped a giant out of one of these. Gigantis also took the score lead. Plus, he defeated the Polysaur in a northern skirmish on the Polysaur's side of the lake. Little did Gigantis know that this skirmish was only a distraction meant to draw his forces, resources, and attention into an irrelevant and ineffectual corner of the map. When a Polysaur scout had revealed that Gigantis possessed no cities with mid-map lake access, the Polysaur devised a plan to maintain this situation, or at least to negate the effect of any ports Gigantis might construct. Gigantis attempted to batten down the hatches with shields, but the Polysaur's navy was relentless, and Gigantis's other cities were too far from the water to be of much help. Any catapults or archers they trained would face a long trek to the shoreline. The Polysaur's naval bombardment was soon supplemented with a land invasion. Yet, Gigantis could and did defend itself, for a time, against this phase of the Polysaur's aggression. At first, this defense merely consisted of serving up giants to the meat grinder that was the Polysaur's navy. Once the Polysaur had chopped through as many giants as its opponent could produce, Gigantis fell back into a prolonged, ranged defense of his coastal cities, gathering his forces in those cities the Polysaur's navy was unable to terrorize directly. Using knights, Gigantis was able to hold out for a while longer, though, thanks to the ports he'd built to help him produce a slew of giants, his knights, after killing only a single of the Polysaur's ships, generally took to the seas, exposing them to near immediately annihilation by the Polysaur's remaining and ever-increasing naval forces, some of whom the Polysaur, unable to finish Gigantis off, soon turned towards the project of reclaiming the northern half of the map. After completing this project, and a similar project at the far southern corner of the map, as the Polysaur threatened to encircle Gigantis's capital with an influx of giants, a resignation was finally tendered. This game demonstrated the power of lake control, and, conversely, the potentially devastating consequences of its loss. More specifically, this game highlighted the importance of scouting opponent water access, and, conversely, that one must be aware of, and act to mitigate the disadvantages associated with one's own lack of water access. For example, whereas Gigantis, even before encountering the Polysaur, prioritized city development and giant production, he should likely have prioritized one or more of the following: expanding the borders of the city closest to the sea, and then contesting sea control with rammers, producing and stationing archers near the shoreline, in order to repel any early naval incursions, or, finally, holding off on investment into coastal cities, essentially giving them up, while falling back to defensive positions so as not to completely lose them, just as Gigantus was eventually forced to do. In addition, we saw Gigantus's strategy of sacrificing giant after giant, in an effort to appease the Polysaur's ferocious appetite, was not a wise strategy, particularly as it required extensive port building, which hampered the ability of his knights to more effectively combat shoreline naval encroachment. Of course, handicapped by ports or not, Gigantus, sooner or later, realized the imperative of a retreat to defensive positioning. It was at this point that the Polysaur demonstrated one tactic for closing out a game against an entrenched opponent. Namely, that of picking off weaker cities, one by one, and then building up a force of frontline giants with which to encircle one's prey. If you see other takeaways from this game, please share your insights in the comments below. You can also comment below if you want to share with the Polysaur a Polytopia game you recently played. The Polysaur may even decide to share your game on this channel. Finally, comment below if you wish to challenge the Polysaur, despite the absolute foolishness of such a thought. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe now, or else the Polysaur will come for you.